Hello everyone, this is Stephanie. Welcome to another video. So yeah, you guessed it, we're making an ankle bracelet and we're making the Interlace Ruffles ankle bracelet. So a lot of fun, very cute. Here are a few pictures for you. Okay, so really easy to make if you've made the Interlace Ruffles bracelet. This will be a breeze for you. If not, come on and give it a go. It's really cute and lots of fun. All right, I'm going to clear this off, get a materials list going, and we'll get started. Okay, let's get a materials list going. So you need some seed beads. And I'm using 11/0 seed beads, and I'm using 3 different colors, a main color and then some contrasting colors. So I have 2 contrasting colors. This is the one we're going to work on today, or you can just do 1 contrasting color, whatever you like. It's whatever, whatever speaks to you. We need a 3mm bugle bead, some 3.4mm Miyuki drops. I've got a clasp here, a stop bead, 8-pound Fireline, size 10 beading needle. Don't forget to check the description box below the video for all sizes, shapes, colors, amounts, everything that you'll need to make this. I'll put some links down there too if you need to purchase anything. Any coupon codes for any of the mats or anything will be down there, so don't forget to click that down arrow of the show more. The box will open and you will have everything you need right there. All right, so I'm going to clear this off and we're going to get started. Okay, let's get started. So thread your needle with about 5.5 feet of thread. Put on a stop bead. You can leave about a 12-inch tail if you want to sew the clasp on, or just enough of a tail to sew in if you want to put on your clasp separately. So I've taken 4 of my main color seed beads and I'm going to drop those down to my stop bead. I'm going to sew through the first seed bead after the stop bead. For those of you who haven't done the little Ruffles bracelet, it's so much fun and so cute. So here I've made a little right angle weave unit. I'm going to pick up 3 of my 11/0s, exiting that top unit. I'm going to sew through the other side of the bead I'm exiting. Like that. So now I have 1 unit on top of the other unit. Just holding it nice and tight against my stop bead. I'm going to pick up my contrasting color, a bugle bead, and my contrasting color, and then 4 of my main colors. Doing sort of our setup row now. I'm going to drop those down to the work, so to those little units like that. I'm going to skip the turquoise, bugle bead turquoise, and I'm going to go through the first seed bead of that group of 4 that's after that turquoise bead, so that main color bead right there. Like that. I'm just going to hold it like this, and make sure that you pull it nice and tight. You don't want any thread showing. And you want to keep those bugle beads as straight as possible. So you want to make sure no thread, keep everything as straight as possible. Pick up 3 of my main color, exiting this bead. I'm just going to sew through the other side of the seed bead I'm exiting. Hold my thumb in a second. Like that. Sometimes I pull the thread a little bit, where that's coming out of that bead that I'm going through, just to tighten it up. Give it a pull, puts another unit on. So you want to make sure that unit sits right up against the seed bead. You want as little thread showing or no thread showing if possible. So exiting here, I sew through the side seed bead and the bottom seed bead of that unit. Okay, I'm going to let you get to this point. We'll do it a few more times for those of you who haven't done this yet. So I'm going to let you get to this point and then come back and we'll continue. Okay, so I'm exiting here. I'm going to pick up 3 of my main color, sew through the other side of the seed bead I'm exiting, just holding my thumb on it to keep it nice and tight. Then I'm going to pick up my contrasting color seed bead, my bugle bead, and my contrasting color. I'm going to sew through the bottom seed bead of that next unit, right there. I'm going to pick up 3 of my main color, exiting here. I'm going to sew through the other side of that seed bead I'm exiting. Like I said, sometimes I pull this thread just to tighten everything up. Make a nice unit right there. Sew through the side seed bead and the bottom seed bead of the unit. You're exiting right there. There you go. Pick up, go ahead a couple more times. 3 11-ohs, exiting here. Sew through the other side of that seed bead that you're exiting to put on another unit. Pick up your contrasting color, a bugle bead and your contrasting color. Sew through this one, so that's the bottom seed bead of the next unit. I pull. Pick up 3 of your main color. Exiting here, sew through the other side of the seed bead you're exiting. Give this thread a little pull. I have another unit on. So sometimes I'll take the 3 I put on and I'll pull them this way so that everybody sits nicely. So you see how that's sitting, that green seed bead is sitting right in there very nicely. Sew through the side seed bead and the bottom seed bead of the unit. Like that. We'll go one more time. 3 11-ohs, exiting here. Sew through the other side of the seed bead you're exiting. Pick up your contrasting color, a bugle bead, and your contrasting color. Sew through the bottom seed bead of the next unit. Pull. Pick up 3 11-ohs, exiting here. Sew through the other side of the seed bead you're exiting. Like that. I'm going to pull the 3 I just put on up a little bit to make sure everybody sits nicely. There you go. Sew through the side seed bead and the bottom seed bead of that unit. And that's all you're going to do. So you're going to do this all the way down until you reach the length of your ankle minus your clasp. So have fun, play with that a little bit, go to your happy place. It doesn't take that long actually once you get going, and then meet me back here and we'll continue. So we'll put the, we'll end up putting the clasp on, then we'll do all this embellishing. All right, see you in a few. Okay, back for a minute. So I've gotten this much done so far, and I just wanted to let you know that if your bugle beads sort of get a little bit wonky, that's perfectly normal. A bugle bead is not, they're very rarely straight on both ends. Like that one was a good one, but most of the time they're, they're a little like maybe slanted the way they're cut. So we're going to go through these beads again and we're going to straighten them out after we get our length done. So if they're a little wonky, don't worry about it. Just try to keep your tension nice and tight like that one. Right there is a little wonky. So try to keep your tension, when you pull your seed beads in, pull them in nice and tight. Make sure the bugle bead sits in between the 2 seed beads, and it'll look really pretty. All right, so I just thought I'd throw that in case you were saying, oh, my bugle beads are getting a little wonky. Okay, see you in a few. Okay, so I'm about 3/4 of the way done with my ankle bracelet. So I have to add some thread at this point. I thought we'd do it together, but I always have an adding thread video in the description box under every video, or I try to put it there so that if you need to, to look at that video, you can. But let's do this one together. So I've added a length of thread. I put on around 4 or 4.5 feet. I just want to use that thread to complete the ankle bracelet, and then I'm going to use it to reinforce it. So I've put on a stop bead. I've left enough of a tail to sew in. I just want my new thread to come out where my old thread is coming out. So I'm exiting this seed bead right here. So I'm just going to find a place back here to sew through. I'm going back a few beads just so I can secure the thread. I mean, if you popped right through here, I think it's just a little too close. So I go back a little bit. So I'm going through the line where the bugle bead is. And my stop bead's going to hold my thread. And I'm going to sew through this bead. Like that. Back down through this line of beads. It's kind of a preview also of how we're going to reinforce this ankle bracelet. So down this line, and then through these two. And now my thread is exiting the exact place that my working thread, my old thread, was exiting. So at this point, you can just continue beading. So 3 beads, exiting here, so through the other side of the seed bead you're exiting, and so on. Like so. And I could just ignore that old thread, or I can sew that thread in anytime I want. So that's just a little primer there on adding thread. So I'm going to finish this up and then come on back and we'll get to embellishing. Okay, we're back. So it's time to put the clasp on and then we're going to embellish. So here my whole piece is done. Didn't take that long. Exiting this top seed bead right here. So I've put on my needle 3 11/0s. I'm going to use a magnetic clasp and see how that works. My clasp, one under my clasp, or it's actually the whole clasp is together right there, and then 3 11/0 seed beads. Exiting here, just going to sew through the other seed bead, the seed bead on the other side, that exact same seed bead, to put my clasp on just like that. And then you want to reinforce this, and I'll wear this and see how strong the magnetic clasp is. Not going anywhere anyway. So if I lose it, it will be in the house. So I'm going around all the beads. Like this. Just to reinforce. You could do that a couple of times if you like. Then I'm going to come back down through these 3. You know, through that, not these 3, this whole group right here where the bugle bead is. And that's pretty strong. Like I said, you can do it again. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this needle going and thread going. I'm exiting here. I'm going to sew through this bead. So that's next sticking out bead right there, and go through this line of beads where the bugle bead is. So that whole line, the 11/0s, the bugle bead, and the 11/0s. So this is how we're going to reinforce this and get those bugle beads to stay a little straighter. So here, go through this one. So if you've done this interlace before, you know that we do this all the time. Through this line, back through this one, through this line of beads. So it's kind of satisfying at this point, because look at how all of a sudden they start to straighten out. So it's a really good idea to do this, and it gives some structure to the ankle bracelet. Don't worry, we'll get to that embellishment soon. So you're just going to do that all the way down to the end and put your other end of your clasp on the exact same way, and then meet me back here and we'll finally get to the embellishment. All right, see you in a few. Just a note, when you're reinforcing, you don't want to pull super tight. You want to make sure it's nice and fluid and flexible. So do you see the bugle beads are straightening out, but it's still flexible. I'm not pulling it so it's all kinking up. All right, so get the rest of that done and then come on back and we'll finish it. Okay, so I finished with my length and I have my clasp on, and I love the way the magnetic clasp looks on. I'm just worried about it not staying. So I'm second guessing myself on the magnetic clasp, even though it looks pretty, but you can put just a bead in loop closure and it'll look just as pretty. So I'm threading a needle with about 2.5, 3 feet of thread. I'm going to put on a stop bead and leave a tail to sew in. So here's my end. I'm going to sew through this bead right here. So here's my little, actually let me pull in. There we go. Here's my last right angle weave unit. 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 beads right here. I'm just going to sew through this one. We're going to put that embellishment on. It's going to make this curve a little bit. So I'm going to put these on instead of the silver. I thought we'd do something a little different. So I'm going to pick up an 11/0, a drop, and an 11/0, like that. I'm going to sew through the next sticking out 11/0. So right there. And let me just get my tail thread out. There we go. All right, so I have the first little unit on. So then I'm going to pick up either, I was going to put another turquoise bead on, but I thought maybe, should I put this sort of corally color one on? Let's see how that looks. I'm just going to sew through the next. 11 0. That would get a little color going here. Then I'm going to do the turquoise, the drop, and the turquoise. I'm going to sew through the next 11 0. And I'm going to pick up another color or the same color, go through the next, sew through the next 11 0. I'm just going to do that all the way down, and you're just going to keep it loose. Keep your tension loose. You don't want to pull too tight. So 11 0, drop 11 0. Next one. Contrasting color or whatever color you like. Through the next one, giving a little press down. Oh, that looks kind of pretty. Okay, one more time. Through the next bead, 11 0, through the next one, and so on. Just going to do this all the way down till you get to the end. And it's going to start to curve your piece just a hair, a smidgen. It's only going to curve it a little bit. All right, so keep doing that. And then as I'm doing it, I'm kind of giving a little, just giving a little pull, making sure everybody's sitting nicely. All right, so get that done and then come on back and we'll finish up. Okay, coming down to the end, I have one more bead to put on. So it's just I'm going to end with the coral bead. I'm going to just sew, so I'm exiting here. I'm going to just sew through the next bead and up the clasp again, through all the clasp beads. And so on. And then you just want to sew your threads in. So here's our ankle bracelet. Now I wish I could get my ankle up here, but I can't, so I'll just put it on my hand. So here you go. Here's our ankle bracelet. So cute, so much fun. I can't wait for it to be super warm so I can wear sandals and wear lots of beaded jewelry because I'm really enjoying this. All right, so I hope you're enjoying it too. Take care, stay well, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, bye-bye.